The objective of this training video is to prepare you, the person collecting the sample, to use the Picamole breath sampler. By the end of this video, you should know the key components of the breath sampler and how it works, how to prepare for a breath collection, the steps required to collect samples using the breath sampler, and the steps required after breath collection has been completed. Hello, I'm Andrew, and I'm a technology manager at Picamole. I will be walking you through how to take a breath sample using the Picamole breath sampler. The breath sampler is a portable device that uses specialized sorbent tubes to capture chemicals in the breath. These sorbent tubes are then packaged and shipped back to Picamole for lab analysis. The key components of the sampler are the touchscreen, which will help guide you through the required steps to collect samples, the tube holder, which is where the specialized sorbent tubes are placed before sample collection, the mouthpiece, which contains the antiviral filter and attaches to the neck of the sampler, the power button and on-off switch, which supplies power to operate the sampler and are located on the back of the device, and the kit, which contains the sorbent tubes and mouthpiece, which will be inserted and attached to the sampler during breath collection. The breath sampler works by exhaling breath through a mouthpiece and into a canister located inside the device. Breath is optimal when it is exhaled at a certain speed, which you will see later. When the canister is full, the breath is processed by pressing the breath through specialized sorbent tubes. Larger molecules get stuck inside the tube, while smaller molecules pass. When shipped from Picamole, each sorbent tube comes with 2 caps. The sorbent tubes are sensitive to absorbing all kinds of chemicals, so they should always be kept capped and opened only when needed. It is also necessary to ensure that they are only used in a clean environment. When not in use, they should be stored in a -20°C freezer and kept inside the Picamole kit box with the Velcro strap tightly wrapped around the box. At least 30 minutes prior to collection, be sure to take the kit out of the -20°C freezer. It is important to allow the sorbent tubes to come to room temperature prior to collecting any samples. You can open the kit to facilitate this. To begin the sampler operation, the sampler is plugged in to a standard 120 volt outlet and is turned on by putting the power switch into the I position. You will see the blue indicator light is illuminated on the front panel when the system is powered up. Press the red button on the rear panel to start the software. An audible beep will be heard. The system boot up will take a couple of minutes. During this time, the screen may go black, however that is completely normal. When the sampler system is booted up, it will come to this screen. Check the values on the screen and ensure that they are set to the correct value for the sample collection. Different tests will require different values. A list of tests and values will be supplied by Picamole. You can change the values simply by touching the screen, or you can use a keyboard. You will notice that each sorbent tube comes with an attached colored tag. Fill out the tags with the date and time that the collection has started. Next, attach the mouthpiece to the breath sampler neck. Each mouthpiece comes in a plastic cover. Leave the end of this cover on the filter to keep it sanitary. The participant can remove it when they are ready to start collection. Press the Begin Collection button on the sampler screen. At this point, there should be no sorbent tubes in the sampler. The sampler will prompt the operator to remove any tubes if they are installed. After clicking OK on the prompt, the sampler will initialize a system flush. The system flush cleans the machine as it prepares for the sample collection. Once prompted by the sampler, we can put the tubes in the tube holder. Using the specialized wrench or cap lock tool, place each half of the tool around one cap. To release the cap, gently turn the top wrench counterclockwise to loosen it. You do not need to completely disassemble the cap, only loosen the connection. Use the tool on both caps. Repeat for all tubes. Open the clasp on the sorbent tube holder. Each tube has notches on one end, which will face the front of the sampler when inserted. When inserting the tube, make sure the tube is facing the right direction, and insert it into the tube handler, matching the color of the tube label to the colored sticker on the tube holder. Insert all tubes that are required for the sample collection. When all the tubes are in place, pull down on the clasp to secure them. You will hear the tube handle lock into position with a firm connection. Press OK on the sampler screen to begin collection. The sampler will begin by taking a collection of room air. When this is complete, the flow meter will pop up and you are ready to begin collection. Now we are ready to collect the breath sample. Using the controls on the table, Set the table height to the correct position. The participant should be able to sit up comfortably while giving a sample. Align the height of the participant's mouth to the mouthpiece. Explain to the participant that they will be providing a number of breaths to fill each tube. In our example, we will be collecting 1 tube of room air and 3 tubes of breath sample. The patient can take as many breaths as needed to fill each tube. Simply follow the prompts on the screen and take a break when needed. It is important, however, that the patient does not inhale through the machine. The flow meter graph shows yellow, green, and red regions. The participant should aim to exhale with sufficient speed so that the needle is always within the green region. The fill gauge will slowly fill as it collects exhaled breath. Now we can guide the participant through the process. Okay, Faye, when you're ready, take a deep breath and exhale through the mouthpiece. Be sure not to inhale through the mouthpiece when given a sample. When exhaling, try to keep your speed in the green. This will generally be about the speed of blowing out a candle. Only exhale when the green ready for breath light is lit. If you are unable to maintain the green zone, it will collect breath in the yellow or red zone. Do you have any questions?
Nope.
Throughout the sampling process, the sampler will guide you through the required steps. You may notice that not all breaths are used to fill the tube, as some breaths are required to prime the system. The sampler may also do a system flush between tubes. All the user needs to do is follow the prompts. When the sample collection process is complete, the machine will prompt you to remove the sorbent tubes. To remove the tubes, flip up the tube handler clasp to the open position and remove the tube from the first slot. Put the cap on the tube and tighten with your fingers to secure. At this stage, you would only want to finger tighten the caps. A good way to check if the cap is tight enough is to pull on it gently. If the cap pulls off, then it is not tight enough. Do this on both sides of the tube, and repeat for all tubes. To seal the caps, use the cap lock tool to tighten an additional 45 to 90 degrees. Give the cap a quick check by gently pulling on the cap, and then place it inside the Picamole kit box. Press OK on the screen when all tubes have been removed. The sampler will automatically complete a system flush. The kit can then be placed back in the -20 degrees Celsius freezer, strapped with the Velcro band around it tightly until shipped back to Picamole. Once the final system flush is complete, the sampler can then be turned off by pressing the red power button and switching the power switch to the off position once the screen goes dark. The mouthpiece should then be disposed. When shipping is appropriate, use the return waybills that were included in the original shipment. Please be sure to include a shipment form inside the kit. For international customers, a commercial invoice will be required. When not in use, the sampler should be kept in a clean environment with the dust cover installed. We suggest keeping the cap lock tools with the sampler to avoid loss. The sampler can be cleaned as seen fit. The table, sampler body, and the screen are fine to clean. You must be careful not to clean the neck, the tube handler, or the room air filter. It is also important that the cleaning solution does not contain ethanol. If you're unsure about the compatibility of your cleaning solution, please contact Picamole. This concludes the training video on breath sample collection using the Picamole Breath Sampler. If you have any questions or comments about this video, or if you would like to provide any feedback, please reach out to Picamole by phone or email.